Hello everyone and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I plan on reading in July. Now July is a very exciting month for me, if you couldn't tell by the title and the thumbnail. It's the month of my birthday. My birthday is on the 3rd of July, so at the very beginning of the month, but you can bet that I'm going to make the celebrations last a little bit longer than that. Part of what I'm planning to do in July is to read some amazing books. I do have a stack of 5 here to show you guys today, but my plan for the majority of the month is to mood read. Now we do have the Magical Hopathon happening in July, which is a readathon hosted by Rachel over at Rachel Kerris. This is a readathon that focuses solely on Disney and Walt Disney World in particular for this round, and you need to read books to complete specific prompts in order to get access into the different Disney parks. And whilst you're in the parks you can of course go on the rides, you can watch some shows, and you can have some snacks. Whilst I always love participating in the Magical Hopathon, this year I am taking a more low-key approach. As I've said, I've got 5 books on my set TBR that I would like to get to, and I also have a lot of other plans in terms of different reading vlogs that I would like to start to film. So for those I don't necessarily have a lot of control over the books that I'm going to be reading, so I don't want to set a specific TBR for Magical Hopathon just in case I don't manage to get to them. So I'm going to choose my TBR and then I'm going to try and fit them into the prompts for Magical Hopathon as I go throughout the month. So hopefully that works out for me. Magical Hopathon is such a fun readathon. I am a massive Disney lover, for those of you who don't know. Tom and I are planning our own trip to Walt Disney World in Florida next summer, and yeah, I just love all the magic of Magical Hopathon because it combines 2 of my favourite things, which are books and Disney. With that being said, I'm going to jump into my physical TBR for the month and then I'll chat you through some of my filming plans for later on in the month as well. The first book that I would like to get to is Death in the Clouds by Agatha Christie. This is the next book that I need to read in the Hercule Poirot series by this author, and I am very excited to get to it. For those of you who are interested, I do just follow the reading order on the backs of these books. I find it so helpful and it gives me some sort of structure when it comes to picking up these books. For those of you who don't know, this is a series that follows Detective Hercule Poirot as he solves different murders. Now the murder mystery genre is one of my favourites, and Agatha Christie's books in particular are some of the best books out there when it comes to murder mysteries. Her characters are fantastic. She manages to write such a complex murder mystery in a short amount of pages. Saying that though, this is a little bit chunkier than the other books that I've read from her, so we'll see if that impacts my enjoyment. But Poirot is hilarious. I love reading about Hastings as well, who is the kind of Watson-esque figure. They are hilarious together. I love seeing them partner up to try and solve these mysteries, but we haven't seen Hastings in a while actually, so I'll be excited to see if he pops up in this book. What I will do is read you the synopsis because I feel like that will sum it up a lot better than I ever could. It says, from seat number 9, Hercule Poirot was ideally placed to observe his fellow air passengers. Over to his right sat a pretty young woman, clearly infatuated with the man opposite. Ahead, in number 13, sat a countess with a poorly concealed cocaine habit. Across the gangway in seat number 8, a detective writer was being troubled by an aggressive wasp. What Poirot did not yet realise was that behind him, in seat number 2, sat the slumped, lifeless body of a woman. That sounds so intriguing to me. There isn't mention of Hastings in the synopsis, so this might be another one where he doesn't pop up, which is fine. I still love following Poirot, and I just love seeing how his mind works and how he manages to piece everything together by the end. It's also so much fun to try and solve the mystery yourself as well whilst you're reading it. I have managed to do that a few times, but there have been some books that have stumped me, so I'm excited to see what I think of this one. I think I'm going to be listening to the audiobook of this one in particular. If the audiobooks are available, I do tend to listen to them because they are narrated by Hugh Fraser, who plays Captain Hastings in the ITV adaptations of Agatha Christie's works. They are some of my favourite adaptations ever, and so listening to his voice tell the story is just so soothing and it's very nostalgic. So that is the plan for this one. I'm very excited to get to it, and I am happy to once again be moving along in my Agatha Christie journey. The next book I would like to get to is book number 5 in the Six Tudor Queens series by Alison Weir. This one is called Catherine Howard, the Tainted Queen, which of course focuses on Catherine Howard, who was Henry VIII's 5th wife. I've had a very strange reading journey with this series. I've absolutely loved each and every single one of the books that I've read so far, but I read the first one, I left it about a year or two before picking up the second one, and then I read the second, third and fourth book very quickly, and then I've left it it a year now since I've read that 4th book, so I really do want to read this one and hopefully the next book soon, just so that I can finish off the series, because it has definitely been one that I have really enjoyed. They are historical fiction books. Alison Weir is a historian, so the information that we get in here is pretty accurate from what I can gather, but saying that, it's told in such an amazing way that I never feel like it's a bore to read these books. I never feel stupid. I feel like I can follow along with what is going on at all points, which is very nice. And for someone like me who is fascinated by the Tudor dynasty, this is hopefully going to be another one that I really do like, especially as Catherine Howard was one that I personally feel like was treated unfairly. She was only 19 when she came to court and captured the heart of King Henry, who at this point I believe was still with Anne of Cleves, and I feel like in this book we can see how she has been manipulated by the people around her to unfortunately meet a very tragic end. This is a very chunky book, so I may leave this one to read towards the end of the month when I'm going to have more time. My summer holidays start on the 19th of July, I think it is, so I do have a week left in July where I will have more time. Saying that though, I am going to be moving house and sorting things out with the new house, so maybe not as much time as I would like, but definitely more time to focus on reading. So that is probably going to be the plan for this one, because I do want to give it the time that it deserves, and I know I'm going to fall in love as soon as I start reading it. The next book I plan on reading is the 4th and final book in the Legends of Thesma series. This is book 1. The 4th book is called Shadows and Storms, and I am so excited to get to it, you guys. I first read Blood and Steel in March, I believe it was, for Realmathon, and I fell in love with this series. The writing is fantastic, the characters are amazing, and the magic system and the plot just drew me in straight away. Now, I have slowly been making my way through the rest of the books in the series, and I have just recently finished the 3rd book, which is Fate and Furies, and once again I loved it. It ended on a very big cliffhanger though, so I am desperately wanting to dive into the 4th and final book to see how everything wraps up. For those of you who don't know, this is a fantasy romance series in which we follow our main character Althea. Now, in this world, women are not allowed to wield any weapons because a prophecy came to light a few years back that said a woman who could wield a weapon would bring about the downfall of the empire. Because of that, the women who were warriors were stripped of their ranks and their weapons and were essentially cast aside, and ever since they have not been allowed to wield any weapons, even if it is in defense of the empire. Our main character Althea though isn't one to necessarily follow the rules. Her biggest goal in life is to become a warrior of Thesma, and she has been training in secret her whole life in order to one day hopefully be able to fight as a warrior and defend the empire. Something happens one day though that means that she is captured, and she is escorted to see the king and is essentially allowed to plead her case. Whilst she's there, again, something happens. I don't want to spoil too much, but it does mean that she is allowed to train as a warrior, and she faces a lot of different challenges along the way. Of course, being the only female in a male-dominated training camp is not the best situation, but she manages to hold her own so well. She is also dealing with a lot of different familial issues and relationship issues, and as well as that, we do have some magic in here which our main character has to learn to deal with. So there's a lot going on. I don't really want to say too much more than that because I don't want to spoil anything. As I've said, the characters in here are fantastic. The love interest is one that I just adore. I think he is so funny and he suits our main character so well because they are very similar and they just bounce off of each other and give as good as they get, and I just can't wait to see what happens in book 4. I'm definitely nervous, but I'm also very excited, and I'm hoping that everything works out, but knowing Helen Shearer, this probably isn't the case. The next book I plan on reading is a very anticipated release for me, and that one is The Curse of Sins by Kate Dramis, which follows on from the first book, which was The Curse of Saints. I read The Curse of Saints in my reading blog where I read Fairy Loot books for a week. I will leave that linked up above and down below if you would like to check it out. But I picked it up not really expecting too much of it, but I fell in love with that story, you guys. It fast became one of my favourite books, and I have been eagerly awaiting the release of the second book. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely intimidates me because this is a chunky one, but with the way that first book ended, I need to dive in straight away. I need to know what is going on in terms of the politics of this world and the characters and their relationships, because oh my goodness, that first book was such a wild ride. This is a very new release as well. I feel like I got it last week or the week before, and I've been wanting to pick it up ever since, but I've restrained myself because, as I've said, July is my birthday month. I want to treat myself to some amazing books, and I do feel like this is going to be a 5-star prediction, hopefully, so this is probably one I will try and get to very soon, and I will definitely let you guys know my thoughts on it. I do have the first book to hand just because I am going to read you the synopsis off the back. I don't want to spoil anything, and I feel like I do tend to do that in my synopses without meaning to, so I'm going to stick to what the author has said. But can we just appreciate how stunning these covers are, guys? I absolutely love them. So the synopsis for the first book reads: a gift, a curse, or something more dangerous. Aya must discover the truth. As spymaster to the Queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the Queen's enforcer and Aya's bitter rival. When rumours of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate. But when Aya's power acts beyond her god-given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the danger that will follow. This is a series that I often compare to the Throne of Glass series, mainly because we have a badass female main character. We also have an interesting love interest and possibly a few more as well. We have an interesting and complex magic system in here. We have political intrigue where there is a lot more at play than you first know about, and we also have some magical creatures in here as well that you are sure to fall in love with. So I feel like if you like the vibes of Throne of Glass, you would definitely enjoy this series, or at least the first book. I haven't read this one yet, so I can't recommend it just yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be amazing. And yeah, we also have a found family aspect in here, which is one of my favourite things to read about, so I'm hoping this one is going to be a good time. I'm really hoping it doesn't disappoint, and as you can tell, I'm very, very excited to get to this one, and it is going to be getting read this month. And then the last book I plan on reading is Murder Road by Simone St. James, and this one is actually a very different vibe from the rest of these books, because I'm now terrified to pick this one up, guys, because Gabby, Gavin and Katie were reading this book as part of the Book Troop book club. It's a very anticipated release for me, and all of them hated it, so I have been putting it off. But Katie recently commented on my unhaul video, essentially telling me to get rid of this as soon as possible. However, she has filmed a kind of rant review about this book, and I wanted to read it myself first, possibly film a reading vlog for it, and then watch Katie's kind of rant review for it, because I just think that will be so much fun. I'd also love to know why they didn't love this book as well. I obviously didn't watch the whole live show, I only watched the spoiler-free section because I wanted to read it, but I wanted to gauge what people were thinking about it, and yeah, it's not the best, unfortunately. So I do want to read it, I want to get it off my TBR, I want to see what it's all about and why people have hated it so much, and I feel like I'm going to film my own reading vlog for it, and then, as I've mentioned, watch Katie's video and also the live show discussion where Katie, Gavin, Gabby and everyone else discuss it. So that is why this one is on here. But if you couldn't tell, it is a thriller, and we have two main characters who are driving along a road when they take a wrong turn, and they end up on a very secluded, long, dark road, and they see a woman up ahead who is clearly in trouble. They stop, pick her up, put her in the car, and that's when they realise that she is actually covered in blood. And then headlights appear in the distance, racing towards them at speed, and at long last the woman speaks and says, "I'm sorry, he's coming." And then it says here, while April and Eddie are able to escape this time, their terrifying adventure is only just beginning. The hitchhiker's injuries prove fatal, and the couple are trapped in the small town of Cold Lake Falls, prime suspects in the eyes of the local police. It turns out this isn't the first victim to die out on this stretch of road, and it isn't the first time that survivors have seen something that can't be explained. But to get out of town, April and Eddie are going to have to drive down that haunted stretch of road one more time. See, that sounds really intriguing to me. It sounds like it's going to be a very interesting, fast-paced novel. However, yeah, now I've set my expectations very low, so we'll see what I think about this one. I don't know if it has paranormal elements to it or if it is just a mystery thriller. We shall see. But that is why this one is on my TBR. I'm not going into it wanting to hate read it. I'm definitely going to give it a fair chance, but it does scare me now that people who I look to for recommendations haven't enjoyed this one as much. So I'm definitely apprehensive, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna film my thoughts and let you guys know what I personally think about this story. But yeah, it's definitely a different vibe to the other ones. I was excited for this one when I pre-ordered it and when it first arrived, but since seeing the negative reviews, it's definitely gone down in my estimations. So there we have it. These are the books that I plan on reading in July. I'm very excited to get to each and every single one of these. series. I cannot wait to finally read them and see what I think of them. Here's to hoping that these are all going to be 5 stars, except maybe for Murder Road. I definitely have lower expectations for that one now, but all the other ones are ones that I'm so excited for. I can't wait to get to them because they are all definitely anticipated releases for me. Please do let me know your spoiler-free thoughts on any of these books down below if you have any. I love chatting to you guys about the books that I plan on reading, and it helps me determine the order in which I plan on reading them as well. In terms of my other reading plans, I do want to start filming my unhaul project. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. If you have any good name suggestions, please leave them down below. But I'm definitely inspired by Becca from Becca and the Books' recent series, which is called Shelve It or Scrap It. And I mentioned in my unhaul that the books I was a bit unsure about, I was going to try and film reading vlogs for. Now, the way I plan on doing this is by writing the names of these books down on pieces of paper, putting them in a jar and choosing them out at random. That of course takes away the element of choice, which I feel like I need, because if I pull something out and I don't want to read it, then that is surely an indication that I don't actually need to own the books. So my plan is to pull out 1 or 2 per vlog, possibly 3, we shall see, and try and read the books, either DNF them, finish them, and possibly keep them or get rid, depending on how much I enjoyed them. So I have a stack of books here. Of course, with the way that I pull the books out being random, I can't really have a set TBR, which is why I don't want to feature them in this video. But I am planning on filming separate videos for this process and taking you guys along with me on the journey of clearing out some more of my shelves. I definitely have some more filming plans throughout the next weeks as well, but I feel like I'm going to stop this video here before I get too ambitious. I do also have August off from work, so I will be prioritizing reading throughout that month. Hopefully we will have moved in by then as well, so we will be settled and I can just chill and take it easy for the rest of my holiday. So a lot of reading is going to get done, a lot of fun videos are coming your way, and I really do hope you enjoy them when they go live. But I am going to stop rambling here, you guys. If you have watched this video all the way through and would like to let me know, please go ahead and leave me a bee or a wasp emoji if there is one. Of course, that will represent Death in the Clouds, which was the first book I mentioned in this video, and it's a Poirot book, so I'm sure to love it, right? I know I say it all the time, but seeing you guys comment the emoji of the video truly does mean the world to me. It blows me away that you guys watch these all the way through. So if you are still here but don't have anything in particular that you would like to say, please go ahead and comment that now. As well as that, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. As I mentioned, I do have some fun videos coming your way soon, so please don't forget to click the notification bell when you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. With all that being said though, I am going to leave you guys here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!